Can you freaking believe it? After years of waiting, we finally have the full Rivian R2 pricing, colors, options list ready to present to everyone. Logan joins me. And actually, Logan, at the time that this goes live, you will be in Austin, Texas at South by Southwest, hands on with R2.
Absolutely. So excited.
So we have some cool programs coming, some long form videos coming, interviews with the whole team, but we're actually recording this podcast ahead of time so that we don't miss the launch story because we don't know what's going to happen when we're at South by Southwest. So stay tuned to Out of Spec Reviews. Stay tuned to this channel. It's basically another week of Rivian content going on over here. The big news is the pricing has been revealed, and of course, the final uncamouflaged version of the car. Now, let's be real here. Their camouflage was like some vinyl graphics on it. We all know what it looks like, and it looks great. By the way, this is the first time we're officially seeing this wheel, and I kind of like this wheel. What do you think, Logan?
I dig it. I was just gonna say that first impressions of the photo were like, oh, that's good. Yep.
So I guess you can get kind of an all-terrainy look on the outside and a street spec. So this is R2 versus R1. And here's where you can really see the size difference between the two. Now, we've done many videos now on Rivian R1s and Rivian R2s. And now we're like, finally, the thing's getting unveiled. It's going into production very soon. And the big story is this is Rivian's Model Y moment, if you will. This is where they're going to have these are those all-terrain wheels, by the way. Those look all right. They're fine.
Yep.
This is where they're going to have their mass market, big, production volume vehicle. And I think everyone watching this knows what R2 is, and they just want to hear what the pricing is. So let's just jump right into it. Logan, at the time of about 5 minutes ago, you did not see the pricing yet, right?
Yes. Yep.
Before we tell everyone, do you want to share first impressions, gut feeling? What do you think?
Of what the pricing is?
Yeah.
Um,
You don't need to say the number, but do you think it's good or bad?
Completely expected and perfect.
Okay, I totally agree. Let me pull it up for everyone right here. So they have a nice breakdown for everyone to see, and it's this. And it is standard rear wheel drive, 350 horsepower, 265 miles of range. We're going to break all this down and why I think this doesn't make sense. 45 grand. So they are keeping, or at least continuing with the communication that there will be a $45,000 one. Now, that will not be for a year and a half, it sounds like. And the realities of that holding true, well, I don't know. I hope they can keep it at 45. I hope they can make it less expensive. That's a great entry point to the brand. And we'll also compare, Tesla Model Y and other vehicles to this over time and see how it fits in. This video is just on R2 pricing. So then you can bump up from standard rear drive long range, premium. They're stealing the Tesla names here.
Yeah.
Premium dual motor all-wheel drive and performance dual motor all-wheel drive. I think we were all hoping there would have been a tri-motor X or rad version, but that might come later. So we'll have to wait and see. Pricing jumps up pretty nicely with each trim, I would say. What we don't know the answer to is what is the performance dual motor price without the launch package. Traditionally, Rivians have always packaged their launch vehicles with so much equipment and at a much discounted rate compared to what it would normally be. So my guess is this is going to go up a few $1,000s without launch once you don't get the initial vehicles. We also don't know how many launch vehicles they're going to make, but some real big things here. The initial ones that you'll be able to order, assuming you have a reservation, because I think they're going to be backlogged for a while, is $57,990. Now, that is not inclusive of the $1,500 destination fee. So if we do $57,990 plus $1,495, you're at $59,485. So it's basically 60 grand. And that only comes with one free color. You have to upgrade if you want a different color other than silver. You got to pay. We don't know how much it'll be yet, but some amount of money. So you're basically into this thing for under 60 grand. Now, That seems like a fantastic value, and I'm so glad they were able to keep it under that mental barrier of $60,000 for the fully loaded launch spec with everything you need. What do you think about that, Logan?
Yeah, absolutely. I that really is a magic number, I think, in especially in the US market. A lot of consumers in this segment, of like that upper end of compact mid-sized crossover. Once you go over 60, I think that starts to get into like almost like German territory where people are like, all right, what am I really spending money on here? Keeping it under there is exactly what we needed, and I think it's good for consumers.
So if we start to break down the specs on what's available, you have performance dual motor all-wheel drive. It seems like all of the long ranges get that same 87.9 kilowatt hours usable. Shout out Rivian for actually stating usable range. And that's the number that should always be communicated because that's all the customer cares about. What can I use out of this battery? And we'll play around with it as soon as we can as how much is hidden below zero, what's the top charging like. We'll dial into it, but I just love that Rivian's being transparent in their communication here about usable capacity. So basically an 88 kilowatt hour battery pack. So let's compare that to Model Y really quick. Model Y is an 82 kilowatt hour pack in their long range variants. Their performance is 84 or 85, somewhere around there.
Right, that new battery.
Yeah, that new Panasonic battery. And I guess, so this has a little bit more capacity than the Model Y and still some huge EPA estimated range. I'm surprised at how efficient this vehicle is in the EPA cycles. Now, there's multiple cycles you can run in EPA. There's multiple ways you can rate the vehicles. You can rate just on aero wheels, but then you have to re-rate for like a mix of options. So you can have like an aero range specific trim. It gets really complicated. And Rivian, we've done stories on them knowing how to game the system. For example, they used to rate I forget exactly how it was done, but some of their models on the R1 lineup were done in the 2 cycle, the other were done in the 5 cycle to make the gap look bigger than it actually was. So Rivian knows how to game the EPA advertised numbers, and that's what they legally have to advertise on the website. So I think from my impression, we'll have to see how the EPA numbers translate into real world because it is different for every vehicle. If you run a constant highway speed test, you're going to see a more repeatable result car to car, but each car will have a different variation from that 330 miles. Now, I'm assuming the 330 miles of EPA estimated range means that this vehicle has already been certified for EPA testing, which is very cool. And we should keep an eye on the US EPA Gov website to see if we can gather any more data about the car. We did that back in R1 days, and it's super fun to get all the data. I am guessing, Logan, that the performance and the premium dual motors are the same exact car with a software unlock because we're looking at the same battery, same range. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean that would be, similar to what we've seen with R1, so that would be kind of a classic Rivian move. As far as range, yeah, I just wanted to mention I am equally as shocked on that EPA number, and I'm really curious to see what this does in our 70 mile an hour range test because we know that aero matters at speed. And so to see this be so similar to Model Y when we know the shape of both vehicles to me doesn't add up.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, the Model Y is this kind of weird looking egg that is not the most attractive shape. This is a really boxy, kind of in your face almost, but also friendly, but not aerodynamic. No one would look at R2 and say, "Yeah, that's aero." And they're getting great efficiency in the EPA cycles. Now, a lot of this can be, helped by low speed performance, which high, efficiency drivetrains and heat pumps and heat scavenging for their cold weather tests. So there's a lot of things that could be going on here. And that's why we don't know what cycles they rated this car in yet. Either way, looking really good on the range, but I worry that it may not translate to real world. Like you were saying, it would kind of be like there's two ways to think about this. You can rate this for the end customer who like owns the vehicle long term. That's what like the Germans have always done. Like Taycans have always gone way farther than what they say on the EPA sticker. Or you can like try and rate them so people will buy the car and like pull every last, trick out of the hat to get the highest stated range. And then in the real world fall short. And I don't know, but I'm really hoping with 330 miles of EPA, this is a 270 to 300 on the highway type vehicle.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I don't think that's unrealistic. But yeah, I mean, it definitely speaks to the efficiency because, like, obviously you're able to game EPA, but you're not able to game EPA to 100 miles more of range or something. So, this at
I
least
mean,
gives us a glimpse into what it will be.
it's rated at 3.75 miles per kilowatt hour, almost 4 miles per kilowatt hour. I mean, it's still a big gap between 3.75 and 4, but that
Right.
feels really good. Now, according to some automotive reviewers out there, it gets 5 miles per kilowatt hour, but we'll gloss
Yeah.
past that because we love
Only
Marquez.
only if you're going downhill on a Tuesday in 70-degree weather with the heat off.
Yeah, start the trip computer at the top of the hill. This thing will get 6 miles per kilowatt hour.
Yeah.
Okay, so
It's like the
then
it's like our VinFast VF8 bad efficiency calculator.
yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. It's 100 miles per kilowatt hour or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so the pricing on the launch pack seems great. This is the one that we're going to end up buying because we want to have the first one possible. And it's available in spring 2026, which is now. Now, my understanding from what I hear is employees will take delivery first for the first couple months. I don't know what that time frame is. I'm just guessing based off R1. It'll be some time of just employees. Then it will move to early reservation holders, which we have, Logan, one of the very first reservations on this thing. So I am hoping we can take delivery right away. And then, of course, it'll go down the line. Towards the end of the year, you'll be able to get the exact same car, just assuming without the compass yellow brake calipers and without the performance unlock. There's also a suspension change. We'll get into that. I forgot about that. The performance comes with adaptive dampers, and I believe the other trims do not. So there's some cool stuff that we'll learn as well. Standard model, early 27, same battery, rear drive. That's going to be the big range model right there. So 345 miles of estimated range. Interested to hear why there's such a delta between these two models when they are doing a clutch disconnect. It should be the exact same range, really, on the highway with a little weight penalty, but nothing major. So I guess it's close enough. But in reality, if you're cruising on the highway, you're running the same exact rear motor the whole time. The front motor is disconnected in the all-wheel drives, and there's not much rotational loss or anything because you literally disconnect that front permanent magnet motor.
Yeah, exactly. I'm also curious on the whole EPA versus Rivian type thing right there, how they're different estimates.
So Rivian has not run this variant through the final certification. So the Rivian estimated is based off of the EPA figures. My guess is you'll see actually the EPA numbers come up a little bit. I think Rivian's probably under promising this number to try to drive more sales this way, even though I'm not exactly sure why that would be the case, because again, that front motor is disconnected, but this is based off of EPA. So GM does this all the time with like their big GM vehicles because they don't have to be EPA rated. So like Escalade at 450 miles, like IQ and IQL are the same, but it's just GM estimated. So they can do whatever.
Right.
And then this is the big confusing one for me. They don't know what the battery capacity is in standard yet. They have the exact same horsepower and torque and 0 to 60. So if they were to keep the same chemistry and just take modules out, it should be either lower power because you're dropping the voltage, or it would be less weight. So this number should change, or this number should change. It should either lose power or be faster 0 to 60 if you're going to keep the same power output. The question here is they're saying 100 miles less range, almost 80 miles less range. So that's a significant drop in capacity. But is it going to be an LFP pack? Because if it's LFP, they could keep the same exact power output and everything. They could keep the same exact form factor of the battery and the same weight, but with less energy density and a lower cost. That's very possible. I would love to see the standard model be LFP. Or do they just genuinely not know what this vehicle will be yet?
Based on the numbers we're seeing, couldn't this be like kind of an early Tesla situation where it's literally the same battery that's software limited with bigger buffers?
Yeah, so that was the last. I was going to bring that up as well. Great point, Logan. That is very likely to what we're seeing based off of these numbers, where you have the exact power output and the exact 0 to 60, which means the weight can't change. And so all you could really do is just software limit the usable capacity of the battery pack. Maybe they'll offer it as an upgrade in the future. The price is not that different. It's $3,500 to go
Yeah, I
from
mean,
standard to long range. I mean, that's pretty close.
and presumably, like compared to the rest of the market, that's quite a bit of range for that amount of money.
I totally agree. So I guess we'll have to wait and see what they do with this standard model. Rivian is famous for announcing one thing and doing something different later on. For example, the rear windows don't pop out on the R2, things like that. So we'll have to wait and see on all of this. Um, let's go through what you actually get for your money. I think people understand the product structure now. I think it's fair to say we are honestly very impressed with the pricing and excited, and really shows that they're taking this mass market very seriously. So let's come down here to see what else we can discuss. Why is my computer going crazy? I see. All right. So R2 is 9.6 inches of ground clearance, 10 to 80% in 29 minutes. This is now all manufacturer stated figures right here. You can see we're filming this ahead of the embargo lift, which is when this video will go live. So that's what's happening here. Thank you, Rivian, so much for letting us film this ahead of time. We really appreciate it. Okay, so you have the power down rear liftgate window, allows you to carry surfboards. We'll show some photos of that. The rear seats fold completely flat, but the front seats do not fold flat like they were originally supposed to. Rear legroom, I've sat in the back of R2, huge legroom, 40.4 inches and 40.4 inches of headroom. That's interesting. Same legroom to headroom ratio there. And dual glove boxes, front trunk, and rear cargo fits 2 XL checked suitcases, a stroller, several backpacks, plus a carry-on suitcase underneath the load floor.
That's like the most vague like trunk capacity I've ever seen.
Just tell us cubic feet.
Yeah, it's like if you want to put your standardized dog in your mom's purse in the back, you'll fit it.
Basically, they're saying it's got enough room. Thankfully, they did include all of the measurements here for anyone who you can just screenshot that if you need it. But there's all the measurements for everyone. Okay, let's just run through this because we have a whole nother like really in-depth document that I'd like to get through. Integrated conveniences is like, okay, USB-C power bank, or it's the flashlight thing in the door. And okay, it's sustainable. It's not, but sustainable durability. You're still building a new car. Okay, design for the road ahead. This is the question that a lot of people have had. Every R2, and I just got a clarification email from Rivian on this, so I'll read this for you. Clarifying that autonomy plus hardware is built into every R2. Every R2. It's the monthly subscription or one-time fee that is optional. And all R2 will come with a free 60-day trial of Autonomy Plus. So the question here is, what do you get without spending any money? Because Tesla is famous for just removing lane centering on all of their cars.
Right.
And Autonomy Plus will be essentially their like highway on-ramp to off-ramp system very soon. Then it will go point to point. Even if you don't get the LiDAR version, it's going to do quite a bit. We'll talk about the LiDAR later. Because the LiDAR is paired with their new AI chip that they are unveiling as well. So I think it's the same as R1, where you will get basic lane centering, but if you want to do like automatic lane changes or hands-free, you have to pay for Autonomy Plus, is my understanding. We'll have to clarify all of that, but does that make sense, Logan?
Yeah, 100%. I think that's what everybody was expecting. Nobody right now in the market expects like an FSD like system to be free or included or anything like that. We absolutely do expect lane centering to come standard. And up until, a month or two ago, that was the industry standard. So glad to see it here.
Yeah, and Tesla is just so dumb for removing that basic autopilot from their cars. I don't get that.
Yep.
Okay, so it's got a 200 sparse trillion operations per second of edge AI compute dedicated to the in-cabin experience. So I assume that means everything for the incoming. That enables Rivian Assistant, but this is not the big boy chip that they revealed at AI Day. That's going to be 800 tops. And also, I think, is paired in conjunction with when you see the LiDAR R2. I think. So when
Okay.
you see a R2 coming towards the end of the year or early next year, I heard it's been delayed a little bit. Travis Ketchum has a great weekly newsletter that comes out on Rivian News. You can find it and subscribe to it. It's really awesome. He's another content creator in the space. I heard that the R2 LiDAR might be pushed back a bit. So a lot of people, I think, we're going to wait to get the LiDAR version of the R2, which has the top hat thing. But I think it's going to be years before you see a differentiation in vehicle capabilities. And I don't know what to think really, other than I would like to have the new chip. That to me is a bigger deal than having the LiDAR, I think. Maybe it's upgradable, maybe not, don't know. But either way, the early R2s are coming with the fact when you take delivery of one, you know you're not getting the next gen stuff that's already been announced. So it's a little bit of an Osborne effect that they did to themselves here.
Yeah, I mean, in this case, I feel like it'll probably blow over just because the entire automotive community is just sitting here waiting for R2, and there absolutely will be people that are, in line regardless. But it's definitely an interesting thing. I will say on Twitter the other day, I saw that they deleted the photos now, but they released body and white photos in the factory with the cutout in the top.
Saw that. So maybe they're launching with LiDAR from the start. We don't know. I guess we don't know until this goes live because then we'll have hands on with the cars. But I don't think they will have the LiDAR bump. Um, just running through the rest, obviously, it's got those cool wheels on the steering wheel. I have a whole video on those. They're freaking awesome. The dual digital displays. I don't know where that came from. Dual digital displays, and it gets software updates like every Rivian does. And I showed you all that. Okay. Before we get to the big written thing, I want to show you, Logan. This is the first time we're seeing the light interior of the R2.
Yeah.
So, first of all, let me be negative for a quick second, then I have nothing but praise after this. This looks like the worst quality central steering wheel material I've ever seen.
Not a fan of that. Yeah, it looks like the actual wheel itself is like a soft touch material, but yeah, that's not looking good.
Yeah, this is what's bad. I don't know why they have to do that. Just make it black, first of all. No one wants like a light colored center of the steering wheel. Same issue on Ocean Coast on the other vehicles, and make it a smooth grain texture. Anything pebbled like that just looks cheap. Other than that, it looks like they nailed the interior. So this is the dark interior option. We don't know if the dark interior option is the only option available at launch or if it will be a mix where you can choose between the two. The charge port looks so funny in the back here. I mean, it's really nicely integrated, but it's got a weird, almost leaf-like
I
shape to
was
it.
just gonna say it looks like a lead. I wonder if that was intentional with the branding.
Seems about right. You
Yep.
got those dual glove boxes right there. Man, the light colored seats just look so nice in this car. This is sort of a fabric-y texture across this wood that goes across the dash. I think it's birch wood. Looks really great. Nice and airy. Logan, I know what you're going to say about the headliner. Go right ahead.
Is it suede? I can't see.
No, I don't think so. And it's not a dark headliner.
Oh yeah, of course. I missed it. Yeah. The Model Y is now dark. Praise, and yeah, no, that's bad to see.
Got some interesting buttons going on up here. So you have hazards, and then I'm assuming one of these buttons does all windows down and up, and the other one is for the rear glass portion.
Yep,
Um,
probably.
eye tracking is probably going to be in that rear view mirror, same as R1. You can see the electric release latch there with the manual override just in front of it is what it looks like as well. Those steering wheel interaction touch wheels just look amazing. To me, that's one of the highlights of this car. And the screen looks I don't want to say small, but it's not overpowering. I think it's a really nice screen size. What do you think, Logan?
Yeah, it's well integrated. I think like, to compare it to like the newer Volvos as just as an example, this is such a better integration. I actually like the like how it's not as tall as the R1 screens. I think it fits nicely into the dash for a smaller car. And then I was going to comment as well, that fabric material on the right of the screen is very Volvo to me, and that light color and everything like that. Big fan of that.
I think they just nailed the interior of this car. And this is a car they needed to nail. And they had the formula. Everyone, not maybe not everyone, but many people love the R1, including us. It's such an exceptional vehicle. And so they really just had to take what made the R1 so special, distill it down, and make the R2. I mean, the formula was there. So it's not like they had to come with anything groundbreaking here. They just needed to reduce the cost of the R1. And it sounds like, at least from a design standpoint, they really did it. I can't wait to drive it, of course. So that's the the interior. I wanted to show you a couple exterior shots. So this is the new Catalina Blue, I believe is what it's called. This color here. And it's like the R3X color.
I'm a fan.
Yeah, a lot of people like that. It's not actually my choice, but I have weird taste, and I think they don't show them in any other colors. Here it is, R1 Quad versus R2 Sporty Spec. Dude, you park those two next to each other, and no one would know the price difference between the two.
Yeah, not even close. Yep.
They look the same. I mean,
Yep.
yeah, this one's smaller, but it looks just as premium, if not even a little bit nicer in some areas, like especially along the roof. Like this looks a little bit cumbersome. This looks really nicely integrated.
Yeah, to me it looks like if you asked like ChatGPT to just make like a smaller Rivian, it's like that's what they did. And honestly, that's what we needed. Like I've been saying this for months. Like if they made a smaller R1 that was cheaper, everybody would buy it, and they did it, and I'm so happy. And the price is right. It looks great. It's exactly what we needed.
Totally agree. All right, let's run through this final document here, which is not the one we just looked at, but this one, the final R2 press release. So I want to go through what's available on the configurations, which is, I'm running out of Zoom here is my problem. Here we go. Okay. R2 Performance, available spring 2026, debuting with launch package starting at 58 grand, available for a limited time. They don't specify how many cars or for how long. The performance trim is the most capable R2 on and off road. So it sounds like whatever tri-motor thing we've been hearing rumors about is a long ways away, if ever. The dual motor all-wheel drive variant delivers a staggering, that is true, 656 horsepower and 609 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 as quick as 3.6 seconds and 330 miles of EPA range. Those are impressive numbers, Logan. 3.6 to 60. It's just a little slower than Model Y Performance. That's 3.3. This is 3.6. You won't be able to feel the difference. Over 650 horsepower. I mean, the Cayenne S just launched for $125,000, and that's the same acceleration.
Yep, exactly. I obviously comparing this to Model Y is going to be something we'll bring up regularly. Model Y Performance is a great car. This is as well, gives you an alternative. That's about it. It's perfect.
Yeah, they really nailed it. So you get semi-active suspension. So I'm guessing that's one singular valve adjustment for compression and rebound, which is cool. It only comes in Esker Silver, which is the new. Sorry, guys, I keep doing this whenever I
Having
have.
some technical issues today.
Yeah, gosh, it's just really sucking over here. So it only comes in Esker Silver. You get compass yellow brake calipers and exterior badging. So that's let's see, that was the original quad accent color for like my Gen 1 quad. Then Gen 2 Tri got compass yellow. Now R2 Dual Performance gets compass yellow accents. So compass yellow means mid performance.
Right.
The teal, the blue, that's quad. And then rad will probably have its own color, presumably. All new premium interior with birchwood accents in black Crater signature. heated and ventilated front seats, heated outboard rear seats, and a heated steering wheel. So you get all the heated and cooled stuff that you would expect. Passenger and driver seat are both 12-way powered. You get a 13 speaker, 975-watt sound system. So you get 9 normal speakers, 2 mid woofers in a forced balance configuration, and 2 subwoofers in a forced balanced configuration, and rear drop glass.
I'm hoping that the sound system at launch is good and it doesn't need to be, continually software updated to sound good.
Including in that package, I totally agree, Logan. They need to have a good sound system in this thing. Dynamic adventure lighting. Oh, so it's basically got matrix lights standard in that, which is great.
Perfect.
Flashlight, integrated tow hooks, all the different drive modes, and 21-inch big wheels. So I think the big wheels, we'll go through it, but I think those are standard, which is great. And I think that looks
Perfect.
the best. The launch package gives you lifetime autonomy plus. That's a $2,500 option or $50 a month forever. That's a real value.
Yeah, for sure.
Specialized Rivian green anodized key fob. That's cool. You get exclusive option of launch green, but you got to pay for it. I think that's the color we're going to get ours. And then the tow package, which includes 4,400 pounds of towing capacity. It's fine. But like Macan can do 5,500, and that's a smaller car, but air suspension.
Yeah, I feel like Macan is kind of punching above its weight, though.
It is. This is exactly what Macan used to be. And Model Y is 3,500, or Model Y is not much. So I think it's
35,
as
yeah.
expected, but I would have loved to see a 5,000 pound tow rating.
Right.
But of course, you'd probably have to make some ride compromises when you get up to 5,000 pounds. So I think, that if you have a lightweight race car like a Miata or an older 911 and an aluminum trailer, you could still tow to the track. This can tow
Yeah.
horses just fine. So we'll do all those videos when it's time.
Yep.
Optional on performance. So after the launch package is over, you'll be able to get pay for Autonomy Plus. You'll be able to option 20-inch all-terrain wheels. You'll have the option of these colors: Borealis, which is the purple; Catalina Cove, which is that blue we showed you; Forest Green; Glacier White; Half Moon Gray; or Black Midnight exterior colors. All new premium interior with birchwood accents and coastal cloud signature. So I wonder if this just has dark interior or not. I'm not sure for the launch edition.
Right.
I sure hope not. I hate dark interiors.
Yeah. Oh, same. Yep.
So then I'm going to stop zooming here. But then when you go for the premium trim, which is available later this year, this is 54 grand. Same drivetrain, I would guess. 450 horsepower, 537 pound-feet of torque, 4.6 seconds 0 to 60, same range. You do not need any more than that.
Definitely not. Yep.
So you get, with that trim, you get the same silver color. You get heated seats, heated steering wheel, all the same stuff, ventilated front seats, same 12-way power driver and passenger, same 975-watt sound system, same matrix lights, same integrated tow hooks, a few less drive modes, and a 20-inch all-season as standard. Honestly, that seems like a fantastic standard configuration for their dual motor long range trim, if you will. You agree,
Right.
Logan?
That would be kind of like the everyman trim.
That's what most people are going to get. So let's go back to the next page. So then you also get optional, same things: tow pack, 21-inch wheels, etc., etc. Then R2 standard, which is the long range rear wheel drive, starts at 48,490. It's 350 horsepower, 355 pound-feet of torque, 5.9 seconds 0 to 60, which is a lot, pretty quick for a rear drive EV. A lot of them are like 7-8 seconds, like Model Y standards, pretty slow.
Yeah, for sure.
5.9. It's going to not feel fast, but it's going to be enough to get out of its own way. And 345 miles of Rivian estimated range. So what do you lose on this? You lose ventilated seats. You don't get the birchwood You still get heated front seats and heated steering wheel, so no heated rear seat. You get a power passenger seat, but with less direction, so 8-way passenger, but it looks like the driver's seat stays the same. You get the standard audio, which is 5 speakers, 2 midwoofers, no subwoofers, 525 watts. You get same drive modes, it looks like. You even get a snow mode on the rear wheel drive. That's interesting. And 19-inch base wheels.
So it looks like
Optional,
it looks like we lost cooled seats there.
yeah, we lost cooled seats and probably a couple other things, but nothing major. I mean, it still seems fine. Optional on standard is a dual motor all-wheel drive. Wouldn't that just be this one?
Right.
Or can you get an all-wheel drive non-premium? So
So
they
that's
must do standard long range rear drive and all-wheel drive. So they must have 2 versions of standard, or 1 version of premium where you can't get a rear drive premium. That's what that's indicating, is you're going to be able to get a standard interior but with all-wheel drive.
That's great. I mean, I feel like that's on brand. Like, there's going to be people that kind of want just like, all right, give me all-wheel drive and make it as cheap as possible type thing.
Yep, totally agree. So that's an interesting find. I had not really read through this document yet, so that's kind of cool. And I think that sounds good. I mean, a lot of people just need want a basic car. They don't need cooled seats. They don't need XYZ. It's just them. No one's with them. You don't need the 12-way power passenger seat. It doesn't look like it has the rear folding glass either, or the glass that goes into the tailgate in the standard. And I'm sure there's more that we'll find out in our future videos. But a lot of people just need a basic car. And if you want all-wheel drive in a basic car, it looks like you'll be able to get a standard all-wheel drive version. Now, an additional R2 standard variant will arrive in late 2027, starting around $45,000. Shouldn't it start at $45,000?
The other document had it right at 45, right?
Yeah, the other document had it right at 45. We should go view the asterisk at the end of this document here.
We should.
All right, let's go do that before we do anything else. We're on page 3. Let's come down here. So this is number 2. It just says it doesn't include taxes and fees. But
This is very interesting. I mean, this is textbook like Cybertruck unveil type situation where they, at launch or at unveil, they say a number and then they kind of have to do the number for public perception. And so I'm wondering if like this is going to be the whole Tesla situation where it's like, all right, we delivered 100 units of this, it's gone now, we did it type thing.
maybe, I have no idea. But that's when they're really going to just like software lock the battery and just to get the price in there and make it look as unattractive as possible. Just
Well,
to
because
say,
I mean, it's barely cheaper. Like, it's seemingly not a good deal.
seemingly they don't want you, like, you lose so much range for $3,000. So anyway, more details will be shared later. I don't want to sound skeptical, but you can clearly tell that's not the one they're excited to sell you.
Yeah.
Okay,
And it's presumably the same car, but software.
We don't know. It could be software lock, could have a different battery. They could make it as small of a battery as possible just for fleet use. I don't know. So new colors: Catalina Cove, Esker Silver, Half Moon Gray. Those are the new colors, and they're joined with Rivian's exterior colors that already exist, which is Midnight, Glacier White, Forest Green, Borealis, and Launch Green. I'm assuming because there's no comma between Borealis and Launch Green that these two are available only with the launch package, but I'm not sure.
Interesting.
But that's just a grammar thing. I'm not 100% sure what they mean by that, but we can ask them when we're there.
Yep.
So these are all the wheel options. 4 different wheels. So you get the standard 19-inch, 20-inch all season, 20-inch all terrain. So that's going to be that sort of off-roady spec that you can get in the performance. And then the 21-inch all season, which is the launch edition wheel, which I think looks great.
Yeah, for sure. So all launch editions are kind of not the, off-road spec, I guess, if you will, which is just tires. So obviously you can change that afterwards, but kind of
Yeah.
interesting that you can't get a launch spec and then immediately, take it on the trail type thing.
That's what it at least appeared to sound like based off the wording, which was launch edition comes with the 21s. If you spec the non-launch, then you can option these 20s.
Yep, yep.
Inside, you get an interior, which is either Black Crater Signature, which is the dark interior, or Coastal Cloud, which is the light interior. And we've shown everyone those already. For standard, you only get Black Crater, no signature. I wonder who's actually signing them. Like, whose signature do you get? It's such a stupid name.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
okay. Utility reimagined. You get the rear drop glass, but only in the higher trims. You get 90 cubic feet planted and connected to the road field with a low center of gravity, enabled by its structural battery pack. And seeing if there's anything else that needs to be discussed. I think that's everything. So let's go back and look at this thing really quick. Do you want to see interior or exterior?
I want to see interior.
All right, interior. So this is the Coastal Cloud signature. I'm still not finding a signature, but that's okay. It dude, I think they freaking nailed it. Like the premium, the standard, first of all, based off initial glance, you don't really lose that much going from premium down to standard.
Right. Yeah.
And then performance, that's the one I want, launch edition with everything. It's going to be so cool. And I can't wait to have more videos coming. So that's the pricing. I guess I'll just end the video with that pulled back up on that spreadsheet because this is the big deal. Final thoughts, Logan, on the everything we discussed.
Yeah, pricing's there. I don't think anybody can be mad at this. It's right on par with the industry, and then we get all of those R2 features and that R2 feel that we wanted in the first place from this product. That adventure feeling, that boxy look, the interior feeling just kind of a step above of what we're used to in this price category. Um, so happy that it's here, so excited to see these things on the road, and I think this is exactly where it should be. Good job to Rivian.
I don't think anyone's going to be mad. I totally agree. This they are knocking it out of the park. Rivian knew what they needed to do to please everyone, and they're doing it. And holy smokes, this seems like so much car for the money. It fits perfectly in the marketplace. And finally, we have a good Model Y alternative. And like maybe not even an alternative, but especially once their autonomy platform gets a little bit better. Like I would choose this any day over a Model Y. But I guess time will tell.
Yeah, absolutely.
So thank you all for watching at home. That's the news of the moment. The Rivian R2 pricing is revealed. Can't wait to drive it. Can't wait to be with it in person. We'll probably have videos spamming right after this with a bunch of stuff coming from the event. And Logan, you and I'll actually be there as well, but later on in the day. So you'll probably be Logan and Scott for the early videos, and then you'll have to deal with me for the rest. So thanks so much for watching. See you in another one again soon. Bye-bye.